I'm Diana Artene, PhD in Oncology Nutrition, and let's learn how to eat after a cancer diagnosis. Although different cancers are influenced differently by the immune system, the majority of people diagnosed with cancer and the majority of people hearing that someone else got diagnosed with cancer keep speaking about increasing their immunity. But immunity, it's such a vague concept. Really, why don't you play scientist and ask 10 of your friends or colleagues, please tell me, exactly what is immunity? Despite speaking about it, most people have no clue about what immunity is. The subliminal message passed on from one to another being that you have to take vitamins, antioxidants, or something. Just that immunity is not a magical door out of the cancer world, but an entire defensive system. And like any defensive system, it is a huge system. And to understand how immunity works, imagine your body being a country. The defensive system of a country mainly protects three areas. The custom, which is protected by the custom officers checking up anything and anyone wishing to enter the country. The local order, which is protected by constabulary and police officers keeping things in order in the cities and in the neighborhoods. And the integrity of the country, which is protected by the Secret Service and by the army keeping at bay external national threats. The custom officers within our immune system are the anatomical, the biochemical, and the humoral barriers. First, we have the skin, and then the digestive and respiratory mucosa. And even if it doesn't really sound as magic, the hair in your nose and the eyelashes and the mucus on these membranes are the first defenses against most infectious diseases. Then we have tears and saliva and blinking and coughing and sneezing and vomiting and the low gastric and pH and the intestinal bacteria and the peristalsis, all responsible for defending the body when under attack. And because you have hair in your nose and because you can puke your guts out when you see a disgustful thing, one lonely enemy doesn't usually manage to trespass these custom officers. Either there is an entire army of enemies, an extremely smart one, or a country with no customs. The common immunity story breaks down at the digestive mucosal level because besides stress, besides sedentariness, and besides sleep disorders, the next behaviors lower the custom officer's ability to defend you against infections. Drinking alkaline water or taking gastric anti-secretory drugs decreases immunity by increasing gastric pH. The low gastric pH being one of the first defenses we have against many digestive pathogens. Then, detox diets, enemas, and all sorts of laxative teas or drinks that lead to diarrhea or to dehydration decrease immunity by inducing dysbiosis. Then, this dysbiosis is further amplified by the regular fallout from restrictive diets to binging on fast food and on soda drinks or alcohol. And this already amplified dysbiosis is further amplified by the anti-inflammatory drugs, by antibiotics, antidepressants, anxiolytics, and by all sorts of other medicine you might take to glue your life together when the going gets rough. The low gastric pH and the tiny bacteria in your gut that you are damaging each time you drink stupid shit, you detox, you overeat, and you take all sorts of drugs, are responsible for 70% of the immunity you so dearly want to increase now. Your stomach and these tiny but hugely important bacteria in your intestines won't lift a finger to protect you when the enemy comes at your border to conquer your body. If diets, detoxes, overeating, and meds are part of your usual lifestyle, an extremely smart one enemy, an army of enemies, or sometimes even one very dumb enemy can conquer your body because your country has no custom. And the pathogen who managed to trespass the custom will further encounter the local nonspecific defense, which is ensured by the constabulary officers, who are exactly the cells that can attack cancer cells, but they act like highly inflammatory, angry, natural killers, beating up anyone or anything who acts out of the ordinary without regard to being a friend or a foe. And by police officers who first check to see that they are actually dealing with a real enemy, and then, after beating it up, they inform the head of the army and the Secret Service, presenting them with a hand, a foot, a nail, or whatever is left of it. The army and Secret Service are responsible for the national specific defense, maintaining the integrity of the country. T lymphocytes are the agents working in secret to protect us. They do not produce antibodies, but they can use cytokines to directly attack and kill malignant or infected cells. They inform the head of the army, calling them up to fight, and they memorize how the enemy looks like to rapidly initiate an immune reaction in the case of reinfection. And besides the T lymphocytes secret agents, the army of lymphocytes B soldiers are the ones fighting the enemy specifically with antibodies. So, because immunity, specific immunity, is ensured by secret agents and by the army, although we are encouraged to take all sorts of pills and capsules to somehow increase our defense, the only two things one can actually do to increase immunity are either to get the disease or to be vaccinated with the vaccine created specifically against this disease. There is no magic pill to increase specific immunity. And moreover, if you are diagnosed with a non-Hodgkin B or T cell lymphoma, the last thing you should ever consider is an infection, a vaccine, or some weird but natural product to increase your already messed up immunity. And because cancer is mainly a local mutiny of our own cells, one should not even consider increasing specific immunity, which is not responsible for local threats but for national ones. Maybe some secret agent will keep a bird's eye view on the whole thing, but that's about it. Still, although we are talking about a local mutiny in early cancers, not about a national threat, oncology researchers decided to try to involve secret agents when the disease has spread at a national level, the result being immunotherapy. But unlike what many people think, immunotherapy does not consist on taking vitamins or herbal remedies to increase immunity. Immunotherapy consists on administering powerful agents specifically created and designed to activate the secret agents T lymphocytes to attack some types of cancer cells. What we need to keep in mind when it comes to immunity are the following. Firstly, some cancers are immune to immunotherapy. Secondly, among the cancers that actually respond to immunotherapy, sometimes we see a hyperprogression of the disease shortly after initiating the treatment. This is rarely seen, but sometimes it happens. And thirdly, immunotherapy has side effects, which can affect any organ, anytime for the entire duration of the life of the patient. And these side effects can be upsetting, like dermatitis, mucositis, arthritis, hypo or hyperthyroidism. They can be disturbing, like colitis, hepatitis, or pneumonitis, or they can be really dangerous, like the Stevens-Johnson syndrome or severe cardiovascular disease. And please mind that in the rare cases when the immune system gets severely disordered as a side effect of immunotherapy, the situation is counteracted with absolutely huge doses of cortisone or with other immunosuppressive drugs, which are medicine meant to lower immunity, not to increase it. But still, today, many healthcare professionals recommend to cancer patients to take such products to increase immunity, or cancer patients recommend themselves or to one another to take such products. Everyone wants to increase their or their patient's immunity, not knowing or ignoring that increased immunity can also harm. If you are as confused as to think that you can somehow buy yourself out of a disease such as cancer by taking all sorts of vitamins, plants, or magical pills promoted to increase immunity, at least keep in mind that you cannot increase specific immunity without infections or vaccines. Even the police officers don't react unless the trouble is real and not mimicked by the dust in all sorts of capsules, as these police officers have to present the proof of their work, the antigen, to higher authorities. After they beat up a former friend, they present something called MCH1, which shows that the person who disturbed the public order was a foreigner, was not a foreigner, but an injured or age-disturbed local. And after they beat up a foe, they present something called MCH2, which shows that the person who disturbed the public order was a foreigner, initiating the immune response by presenting the antigen to T lymphocytes. So, the only part of immunity such products can increase is the non-specific immunity ensured by the constabulary officers, the natural killer ones, the angry ones. But non-specific immunity is called non-specific because it is non-specific. And although it's true that constabulary officers can attack malignant or infected cells, and maybe you'd like to have as many of them as possible, they are too eager to fight anyone and anything without making a difference between self and non-self. And because it does not make a difference between self and non-self, increasing non-specific immunity further increases the risk of food intolerances, of gastrointestinal inflammatory diseases, of allergies, and autoimmunity. And it is absolutely pointless to take any magic plant or vitamin to increase the non-specific immunity ensured by the constabulary officers, as their activity is directly increased by stress, sedentariness, insufficient sleep, and by the very Western diet by their pro-inflammatory effects. The only part of the immune system that you can optimize, not increase, optimize, without risking getting sicker than you currently are, is the custom. The custom officers are able to keep at bay 70% of threats, but they need regular physical exercise, a good night's sleep, proper hydration, and a varied diet based on foods high in probiotics and in prebiotics. Very weird words. Probiotics are live bacteria, and they can be found in all fermented foods like yogurt, ayran, kefir, curd, brie, emmental or parmesan cheese, in cabbage juice, kimchi, or in salty pickles. And probiotics eat prebiotics. Prebiotics are found in milk and in any other dairy product containing lactose. in fruits and vegetables, either fresh, dried, or cooked, in whole grains, in legumes, and in all sorts of kernels, seeds, and nuts. And as I said, to empower your custom officers to keep away 70% of the threats, you need to do regular physical exercise, to increase the quality of your sleep, to drink enough water, and to nourish yourself with a healthy diet. But to actually improve your health, you need to work on these areas of your life every damn day. What actually impacts your health is what you repeatedly do every day, not what you do when you get scared from time to time. If your life is a ping-pong game between fast food, coffee enemas, and detoxes sprinkled with the holy vitamin C, sanctified with the blue scorpion venom, your custom officers will not raise a goddamn finger to protect you when you'll need it the most. When you take no care of your custom officers, they will take no care of you. And the sad part is that even after a cancer diagnosis, many people would do anything except the actual work required to take care of themselves. To eat right, to do sports, to be disciplined enough to improve the quality of your sleep, all seem such a drudgery. And you don't have the time for drudgeries right now that you're sick. You have to handle the matter abruptly. You have to take some things, pills, vitamins, whatever they may be. But it is so easy to take or to recommend others to take things to increase immunity. But when you are mocking your custom officers, you're kidding yourself. If you are too lazy to work out, too undisciplined to improve your sleep, to drink your water, or to eat better, they will be as lazy right back, no matter what pills or vitamins you might take. The only part of the immune system that answers to such bribery are the constabulary officers. But they first beat up everything that steps out of the ordinary, self or non-self, and then they just say goodbye. And that is why when you try to compensate a sedentary lifestyle or an unhealthy hydration, eating, or sleeping schedule with all sorts of stuff, all you do is to hide the dirt under the rug. And proper hygiene is highly important for immunity. So, for optimal immunity, please start cleaning up the real dirt in your life.